Right, welcome to part 3 of the physical media update. This is the Blu-ray, the video on standard Blu-rays. Changed the angle a bit because I thought it was a bit didn't look very good composition-wise, having so much headroom above me. So yeah, all right, we'll get started. So first we have the premium collection release of Badlands. I got this on eBay secondhand. It was like brand new for it was brand new. This guy's selling it on eBay for like 6, 7 quid, brand new, and I thought, yeah, bargain. There is a Criterion release of this now, which Criterion UK did put out, but I think the video transfer is pretty much the same. So and because the Criterion's like what 17.99, I thought the for a lot less money, I'm quite happy with this. It's quite a nice looking, set anyway. So another premium collection title, Barry Lyndon. Like I said in one of the previous videos, I had the Kubrick box set on Blu-ray, because they're releasing them on 4K. So, and I have a couple, but Warner Brothers are, but they're doing them one a year, and they're doing them by like popular, least popular, in terms of like how well they sell on home video. And this is one of his less popular films, not because it's bad, it's just not that well known. You know, so it's probably going to be a couple of years off, if at all. I remember when the Blu-ray first came out, you couldn't get this or Lolita separately. You had to buy the box set. So I thought I'll get this to hold me over, and because I actually really do love this film, so I'll have this just so I have a copy till the 4K comes out in a couple of years, or if you can only get it in the box set, and I don't want to have to buy all the other films again just to get a copy. Or if it even comes out in 4K at all, I've got this Blu-ray. So there's a Criterion of this, which didn't come out here in the UK, it did come out in America. And I can't actually play US Criterions because I have a Panasonic player, and there is actually a trick you can do on a Panasonic player to play Region A Criterions. But those are they're very expensive. I think it costs about 30 quid to import it, which is nice as it would be to have the extras, and apparently the transfer is nicer too. I'm quite happy with. I'm happy just to get this for half the price, because it does actually look quite good, although it's in the wrong aspect ratio. Kubrick shot it at 166, and he actually sent a letter, to like many projectionists, like every projectionist in the world, pretty much. Like, could you please show it at about 166, 175, if that's not possible? Um, so he had very specific instructions and for how we wanted it shown. And Leon Vitali, who played Lord Bullingdon in this film, he later became Kubrick's assistant, and he supervised every home video transfer of these films since Kubrick died. He decided, oh, let's have it at 178, which is the standard ratio of like 16:9 TVs, even though Kubrick didn't want it any wider than 175. So yeah, what the hell, Leon? I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't ruin the composition or anything. It's just kind of a pain when the director said, "Please have it in this ratio," and it's not in that ratio. So never mind. Yeah, Shaolin Wooden Men, Jackie Chan film. That's actually one of the exceptions to my no blind buying rule. Is that I will buy like these sort of 88 films or Eureka releases of old school martial arts films because I love those. And as someone who grew up, when I first got interested in martial arts films, like Hong Kong martial arts films, you couldn't get them anymore because they've been released on DVD by this company called Hong Kong Legends, and they had gone. By the time I discovered Hong Kong cinema, they went bust. You couldn't get the DVDs anywhere for a reasonable price. Some of them you could get quite cheap, but a lot of them were quite expensive. So pretty much it's like when they release them and it's a film that I'm interested in, buy it. Because even if you watch it once, you think, I don't like that. It's better than like waiting till it's all gone out of print to actually watch it. So yeah, that's an exception. Next we have I'm going to cover the cover because it's a bit gory. Alice, Sweet Alice, which is a horror film starring Brooke Shields when she was young. Yeah, it's meant to be very good. I haven't seen. I don't know anything about it other than it's meant to be quite scary. I didn't want to spoil it for myself because it's like I think there's a plot twist that I didn't want spoiled for me. So yeah, but yeah, looking forward to checking that out. I'll probably watch it this month because all it's Halloween soon. So Field of Dreams. Not really a fan of baseball or even like sports films generally, but this isn't just about baseball. It's a really good film. Basically, Kevin Costner he hears this sort of voice in his head telling him to build a baseball field on his farm and his cornfield, and yeah, it's a really really good film. Really good, even if you don't like sports films or baseball or whatever. I have no interest in sports. I love this film. It genuinely makes me cry. It's a really good film. Dirty Dancing. Don't laugh. I'm man enough to admit. I, I don't care if it's a chick film, chick flick. I'm man enough to admit that I like it. It's a good film. You know what? It's a good film. It doesn't matter if it's not made for you. If it's a good film, you can still enjoy it. This is the sort of a nice special edition. It comes with like a poster and postcards and sort of a fake sort of brochure for like the lodge that it's set in. And yeah, it was it's the 30th anniversary collector's edition, which you know you could only get it like this. You couldn't just get it as like the movie by itself. It came with the extra stuff, but it was only like $8.99, so it's not like it cost you anymore. So yeah, um, yeah, I enjoy the film. It's good. It's like a nice sort of romance film. It's got some great music in it. Yeah, I think everyone. I think I always call it the chick flick every bloke secretly enjoys because I think most men do actually quite enjoy this film, even if they won't admit it. Um, Boogie Nights. Uh, yeah, sort of a film. It's about the 70s porn industry. It's got Mark Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Julianne Moore. It's a really great film. Definitely recommended. Not for kids though, considering the subject matter. But yeah, it's a great film. And it's a bit of an interesting thing. The Mark Wahlberg was a song that was done for the. There's a Stan Bush song that was done for the soundtrack of the 1980s Transformers animated movie, which I have the 4K of that on pre-order. Hopefully I think that's coming out next month, and yeah, I'll be getting that. Hopefully, hopefully I've got that in pre-order. But so this song, "The Touch," was written for the soundtrack of that, and there's a scene in this where Mark Wahlberg sings it. It's quite a funny scene, and lo and behold, Mark Wahlberg stars in two of the Michael Bay Transformers films. So kind of a funny coincidence there. Real shame that it's a missed opportunity that they never played that his version of the song over the end credits of either of those movies. That would have been hilarious to see in the cinema. Even if I was the only person in the auditorium who got the joke, it would have been it would have been worth it. I think. Spirited Away, classic animated film, Japanese anime. It was another. I think this was the first non-English language film to win Best Foreign Language Film because Shrek was the first Best Animated Film. Shrek was the first one, and then I think it was this. So this is the first non-English language one to win. I think so far this is the only anime film to win Best Animated Picture, wasn't it? I think it was. I think it is the only one. Which, considering there's some really good ones, it's kind of I don't know why. I mean, they always give it Disney film, whatever Disney film came out that year. Yeah. Like anyway, that was only about £6 on Amazon. It was on offer or something. I don't know whether they're putting out a new edition and they were just selling off that one, but I'll buy it for £6. A double bill of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Smiley's People. They're basically TV two TV miniseries from like the late 70s, early 80s with based on John le Carré books with Alec Guinness plays George Smiley. He's like a Spy. They're really good. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is one of like my top 3 TV programs ever. Like Smiley's People, I don't quite like as much. I still like it's still really good, but it's not quite it's high up there. But yeah, definitely recommend these. They released these Tales of the Spy a couple of years ago, and Smiley's People last year, but I never got around to them. And now they have a double pack. The reason I never bought is because there was an issue with the first pressing of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, where there's a scene in the first episode where it's in Czechoslovakia, and when they speak Czech, there's meant to be subtitles, but they're missing. And it was there were replacement discs, and then later pressings had the subtitles on there. But I didn't want to risk getting the the pressing without the subtitles and having to send for a replacement. So I thought they're probably going to put the double feature out because they did that on DVD and they did this month. So yeah, finally got my hands on them. You also check out the film version of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with I think Gary Oldman. Yeah, Gary Oldman was in that. Played Smiley in that. That's a really good film. Not as good as the TV series, but it is still a great film. I recommend that as well. Simpsons movie. Hadn't seen this since I guess the 2009 or something. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I wanted to watch it again to see if it held up. Probably should have just watched it on Disney Plus instead of buying the Blu-ray, but never mind. I think I wanted to watch the extras again as well. It just held up pretty well. I mean, my thoughts on it were at the time were it's not as good as the the golden the sort of the golden era of the Simpsons, like sort of series 2 through 8, but it's still pretty funny and a lot better than most of the episodes they've produced over the past 20 years. And watching it again, that's pretty much how I still felt. So yeah, I guess it holds up quite well. Spider Pig was like I don't know if any of you remember, but there was the Spider Pig song, which like was in all the trailers and stuff, and it was just everywhere, and everyone just got sick of it by the time the actual movie came out. Even though it was actually quite a funny joke the first time you see it. Napoleon, which is it's a silent film. I think it's French about Napoleon, and it's 5.5 hours long. Which probably put some people off. So I remember when like Avengers Endgame came out, and people were like complaining. They were like, "Oh, I can't believe it's 3 hours long. It's too long." And I'm like, "That's nothing. I sat through this, So yeah, it's a really really great film. If you're interested in early like sort of silent cinema, I'll definitely give this a watch. And the restoration's beautiful too. Phantom of the Opera live at the Royal Albert Hall. Basically, it's a recorded version of the Phantom of the Opera stage show, which I've never seen it on stage. I wish I would have. I would like to one day, but I've never seen it on stage. And I mean, I've heard songs on like the soundtrack, and I've seen that film with Gerard Butler, which was But now I can actually kind of see it live. I mean, not actually live, but see a recording of it live. So I get an idea of what it's like seeing it on stage. Lost in Translation. I bought the DVD of this in the pound shop, I think, last year or earlier this year, and I liked the film so much when I watched it, I bought the Blu-ray. So, yeah, great film. Probably not for everyone. Some people probably find it quite boring. It's more character-driven, doesn't really have much of a story. But, yeah, it is really good if you like these kinds of movies. Hulk, very underrated Marvel film. I think I mentioned I'm not too big on superhero films anymore, but I do still like this one. I actually think if this had come out after The Dark Knight had, it would have gotten much better. It would have been rated much better because this came out. A lot of people thought it was kind of boring and stuff, but it was kind of but it was almost sort of before its time, ahead of its time, because it's more character driven and much more serious and stuff than a lot of the superhero films at the time were. Like The Dark Knight, and had this come out after The Dark Knight, people I think would have been a lot more receptive to it. So if you saw this at the time and you didn't like it, maybe give it a watch again now. I think you might enjoy it more. Maybe you won't. I don't know, but give it another shot. The Hobbit trilogy, so you have Unexpected Journey, these are the extended versions. Desolation of Smaug and the Battle of the Five Armies. I saw all those in the cinema. I quite liked The Unexpected Journey. I didn't like the other two. I was very disappointed, not only as a fan of the Lord of the Rings films, but I was also a huge fan of the book. That was like my favourite book for a long time. So I was very disappointed in them because they deviated a lot from the source material. But it's been over 10 years since the first one. I thought, you know what, I'll give them another chance. And apparently the extended versions are a lot better than the theatrical cuts. And also, I wanted to see the making of documentaries because there were a lot of sort of problems behind the scenes and stuff, and apparently they talk about them in the documentaries quite candidly. So it'll be interesting to see the behind the scenes stuff. And these have lenticular covers because they include the 3D disc, which is no good to me, but all the other discs I can watch. They don't have a 3D TV. Laputa, Castle in the Sky, another Studio Ghibli. I saw this many years ago, but I cannot really remember much of it. I remember liking it, but I don't remember anything other than that. So it'd be nice to watch it again. Also, I'm pretty sure when I watched it, I watched it dubbed. So it'll be good to watch it with the original audio for a change as well. So I do prefer to watch foreign films in their original language. I don't really like watching them dubbed. There's a few exceptions, but generally, I prefer to watch foreign films in whatever language they were made in with subtitles. Because the dubbing's usually pretty bad. I mean, sometimes that can add to the enjoyment, but generally I'll watch the original language. Early Universal, this is a Masters Cinema release, and it's basically 3 films from like the early days of Universal. So you have Skinner's Dress Suit, The Shield of Honor. I'm guessing that's a cop movie. Yeah, it is. And The Shakedown, which wasn't that the name of the song from Beverly Hills Cop 2? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That was a great song, but that's beside the point. I like silent films, and I thought that, would be, it's nice to see Universal releasing some, well, it's massive cinema, but obviously licensing out some of their really old, early stuff, to other labels so that we can watch them. Because, it's interesting seeing, like, the early films, seeing how films are made, how, because they're quite different from now. It's interesting to see how films have evolved, comparing stuff from 1926 to 2021, how it's evolved. And last but not least, we have La Dolce Vita. Just a minute. Pull the cover over for a sec. This is a Federico Fellini film. I've not seen this. I've seen 8.5, which he did, and I enjoyed that. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. This is the Cult Films release, and HMV were selling it for £7.50, which was half the regular price, which I think was 15 quid. And I know Criterion are putting this out, or they have put this out here in the UK. So I wonder if HMV were like selling, the old version off cheap so they could make room for the Criterion release, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind why ever it's cheap. I'm quite happy to pay £7.50 for it, and it's quite cool. It has a reversible cover, so you have the regular cover, and then you have the other side, which has the theatrical poster. Which there's a barber shop I used to go to. I don't know if it's still around, but they had a lot of old movie posters, and this was one of the posters. I remember seeing it. There's this, and I remember as well Gilda, the Hayworth movie. The Shawshank Redemption. They're watching like an old black and white movie. Gilda, and it was the poster for that was in that barber shop as well. So yeah, and it would be nice to actually watch the movie, the poster, because I've seen that poster many times, but I've never actually seen the movie, so it'll be interesting to watch it. And so that's the end of part 3 and the end of the updates for now. So I hope you all enjoyed it and found it interesting, and maybe some of the things I've shown, me talking about them, has gotten you interested in watching them. And so yeah, I will see you whenever I do another one of these. So probably in another couple of months. So see you then.